Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Estee McCrawly coming with another video. Today we got some more double battles here on the battle spot, and so we're still continuing with the uh, dual weather team that I've created, and we're just gonna go ahead and get into this first battle. My opponent was wrecking a team of Lucario, Farfetch'd, Chandelure, Abomasnow, Raichu, and Dragonite. So some really interesting Pokemon. I haven't seen a Farfetch'd on in the doubles format yet. Chandelure, I don't think I've seen a Chandelure in doubles format either, but I know a little bit about it because I played against it in singles. The only Mega Evolution possibility here is Lucario, and we just have to watch out for the hail from Abomasnow a little bit. So I figured that in this battle it'd be better to bring both Politoed and Charizard, but not Roserade, since I wouldn't be able to. He didn't really have anything that was weak to grass. It would have been more of a liability than something that would help me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this first battle started. And with how my opponent's team was, I figured maybe not the best lead, but a good lead would be Charizard, Hitmontop, and his lead wasn't really what I was expecting. So he has super effective stat for each of my Pokemon, obviously, but it's still like these Pokemon aren't really the strongest offensively. So I Mega Evolve here, and I don't protect. I'm going to go for Fake Out and an offensive play with Charizard, but I made a mistake here, and I go for Fake Out on the Raichu instead of his Farfetch'd. So he gets a free Tailwind up, and I get a little bit of damage with the Fake Out. And the main thing I wanted there was to pop his Air Balloon because I have Excadrill on the back. So I thought that, and I kind of clicked it right away without really thinking the whole thing out. So here I go for Protect with Charizard. I'm expecting a Thunderbolt, and he goes for Helping Hand. So I'm like, okay, well, I hope he goes into Charizard, and he does. So that's perfect. I get a Stone Edge off, which is going to bring, we're going to see its Focus Sash, and we're bring it down to its Sash. So that's good. When I saw he went for Helping Hand, I'm like, oh, he's probably going to target down Hitmontop. Because I don't know if he would have needed the Helping Hand to get rid of Charizard. But I'm immediately going to switch out. Because I think, or depending on what he has in the back, I'm going to need Charizard. So I go for the Feint here on the Farfetch'd in case he wanted to protect. And it's just, what I like about Feint is it's like an assurance knockout. If the opponent's at 1 HP or low HP, it like ensures a knockout. So interestingly enough, he goes for the Thunderbolt into the Hitmontop slot there instead of, he might have been try to double target it down right there. So we are going to get Encore here, which I found interesting. At first I thought it was Stone Edge. I'm like, okay, well that's perfect. I just so you guys know, I went for Earthquake there because I would have broken the mold. So even if that was Levitate Chandelure, we would have picked up a double knockout. But unfortunately, I get knocked out. I honestly didn't think of the fact that the sun was up. So if I thought of that and I switched in my Politoed into the Hitmontop slot, that would have, that Excadrill probably would have lived, and then I would have picked up a double knockout. But it is what it is. I'm locked into Feint, and as we see, the Thunderbolt didn't take me out, which is really nice. It allows me to get an Ancient Power off, and it didn't do as much as I thought it would. It probably just would have been better if I went for the Air Slash and hoped for the flinch. But Charizard's going to go down, but I feel like it's still fine since I did a decent amount of damage to the Chandelure. So my last Pokemon's Politoed, and this is good because a Shadow Ball won't one-shot me, and obviously the Flamethrower is not going to do anything. So I protect here because this Raichu is getting low. I am locked into Feint, which is unfortunate, but it's still whittling away at this Raichu. So right there, that was about half what he had left. So one more should be able to pick up the knockout, and he makes somewhat of a mistake by double targeting down the Politoed, but because I protect, and that's pretty much a free turn of damage. So there I get the Feint. Even if he protected, it was the insurance. And here he's going to get an Energy Ball off, which is going to do decent damage, but not enough to knock me out. I am going to eat my Citrus Berry, and that's going to bring us up to enough health to where we can stand one more energy ball if necessary. Unfortunately, here I can't faint, but the Scald does connect and it picks up the knockout. So we just pick up an easy double knockout right there. So we're still not in the best of positions. We don't know what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Because if it has a spread move, it can pretty much end the game, but it is the Lucario. So Lucario isn't really a spread kind of Pokemon. He's like a powerhouse that just like targets down Pokemon by Pokemon. So I even outspeed and I just pick up the easy close combat and pick up the win. So a pretty scary ending right there. I mean the feints from Hitmontop added up, and luckily Raichu isn't the bulkiest of Pokemon. So I mean it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, Hitmontop isn't that big of a deal. We can one shot it later. It's only fainting. It's only doing little damage. It's not that big of a deal. I don't want my opponent to get a free switch, stuff like that. So I understand. I do that a few times, but I've done that a few times. I still do it. I feel like my opponent did make a mistake though. That the Lucario was a good option or a good thing in my opinion, but we saw it was really slow. I don't know the base speed of Hitmontop and Lucario, or even I'm not that familiar with Mega Lucario's base speed, but my opponent set up the Tailwind turn 1. I felt like he did lose his Tailwind user, but if his team really relies on Tailwind that much, he should have kept his Tailwind user alive longer or sent out the Lucario sooner. So that's like the mistake he made. That Lucario could have done a number to my team. Charizard's the only one that would have resisted. So I feel like he didn't play his Pokemon that well. If he would have played better, he might have picked up the win. So that was the first battle. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to this next one, which we're also gonna see a little bit of interesting Pokemon. My opponent had a team of Salamence, Talonflame, Charizard, Greninja, Garchomp, and Breloom. So he does have the double ice weakness with his 2 dragons, and then a double rock weakness with Charizard and Talonflame. And then the Breloom, I'm assuming, going to want to spam Spore, stuff like that. So I see that Clefairy, I always forget the name, has a good matchup here. He has super effective Stab Moonlight against 4 of his Pokemon. And the redirection is going to be really nice. So especially if he goes for a Dragon type move, I can go for a Follow Me, and it'll hit in, and I'll be immune, all that good stuff. So I see, again, like this core right here, I feel like this is the core of my team. When I built this team, this was kind of the thing I had in mind, these 4 Pokemon, with dual Weather, Roserade, and Clefairy for Friend Guard ability, and then the redirection, and also the Misty Terrain. So I'm expecting Spore. I feel like Clefairy can put in a lot of work here if used properly. So I just have to. That's a lot of the problems I have. I feel like I bring a lot of good Pokemon, but sometimes I don't have the best Pokemon selection. So I lead with Charizard and Clefairy, and he goes with Garchomp and Breloom. So there's a lot that can go on here because I have super effective Stab for both his Pokemon. But I feel like his Breloom's going for a Spore. So I go for Protect here on Charizard, and I'm going for the Misty Terrain. And sure enough, he goes for Outrage, and he Spores the Clefairy, which is really unfortunate. Looking back now, what I should have done turn 1, Follow Me with a Heat Wave or an Air Slash onto Breloom. The only thing, I was scared of him having Rock Slide. That's kind of the main thing that I was thinking as I was doing that, but because I can't redirect a Rock Slide. So here I switch out my Charizard into Roserade, predicting a Spore since I'm going to be immune, and we see we are immune. So far this Garchomp hasn't gone for Rock Slide, so I assume he didn't have a Rock type move. But here he's going to go for Earthquake, which is going to do a little bit of damage to Clefairy. Clefairy hasn't woken up, and now he's going to Leech Seed me. So, I mean, it's after we see, what didn't register in my mind either that this Breloom is not Focus Sash because it's Toxic Orb. So Clefairy didn't wake up, so that's unfortunate that we didn't get this the quick wake up with Clefairy, because it could have done a lot more. Now at this point, it's pretty much dead weight. There, I should have that turn. I probably should have gone for a follow me, just to in case I did wake up, so I could get, because that outrage would have gone into Clefairy, and Rosary wouldn't have taken any damage. But here I go for the Sludge Bomb, and we actually pick up the one-hit knockout here. And here I'm kind of hitting myself in the head, like, why didn't I do this earlier? Why didn't I realize that I could one-shot this? Like, anything, once it's a tank, if I hit something for super effective damage with Roserade, it's pretty much gone. So I'm kind of hit myself in the face. I lost Clefairy. You see he has Greninja here, so I mean, I resist. I have super effective stab for 3 of these Pokemon so far. So some big mistakes on my part. I bring in Politoed here for the Ice Beam onto Garchomp, and we see Greninja is going to be carrying Ice Beam as well. So, and it is Protean, so we have to be careful of that. And so here comes the Outrage. So it does quite a bit of damage, about 75%. So we're going to up the Citrus, and we should be able to, depending on the roll, we should be able to take one more. And there's Outrage is going to end and go become confused. So I go for the Ice Beam, which is not going to pick up the knockout. He's barely going to hold on. But we do pick up the Freeze. And depending on how long he stays frozen, that could really help us out. So here he goes for another Ice Beam. I'm okay. There's no point in switching Roserade out, since there's nothing I can do to his team. I mean, I can hit Greninja for super effective damage, but I'm not going to outspeed it. So at this point, I go for an Encore, predicting that Ice Beam, so he can't go for a Water type move. Or change his type, really. Because now I bring in Charizard, and I go for a Heat Wave, and I can hit it for super effective and knock it out, unless it's holding Focus Sash. So he goes for another Ice Beam, smartly enough into the Charizard slot, since it's going to be neutral damage at least. And then I go for Heat Wave. It does double connect, which is going to pick up the double knockout. So now we got a 2v1 situation. Depends on it, like in the last battle, it depends on what he's got in the back. If it's something with a spread move, it probably good, or he might win. If not, it's pretty much going to be in our favor. So we are going to see the last one is Charizard, and here I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, well, he hasn't Mega Evolved yet, so is this X or Y? And we see it is X, which I guess I should have expected since he already had 3 Dragon-type Pokemon. So he hits Thunder Punch off into Politoed, which unfortunately is going to pick up the knockout. I actually wasn't expecting that, because now it all comes down to this Ancient Power, which is going to do over 50%. And I was hoping for the speed boost right there, but I didn't get it. And I was like, okay, well, I think it's a speed tie, so we're going to see. And he's faster than me. I actually looked it up afterwards. For some reason, I'm not timid. I am modest, it looks like. I'm not exactly sure why. When I was building the team, there's probably some calc I was looking at. I don't always remember all the calcs for all the reasons I do stuff, just because I've been building so many teams. So he must have, or if he was max speed, he would have outsped me, of course. And if he was Mega Charizard Y, or if he didn't Mega Evolve, I would have picked up the knockout with Ancient Power. And if I predicted, if I went for, well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. If I went for a Double Protect, it probably wouldn't have mattered. And then, but if I knew for some reason all this stuff and I protected Politoed, I would have won. But what happens. It's not the end of the world. I did get lucky with the Garchomp freeze, and I played pretty dumb at the beginning of that battle, letting Clefairy just go down, and it was pretty much a free knockout for him, and letting that Breloom just sit around. So if I knocked out Breloom earlier, I would have been able to win. Like, if I knew that Garchomp didn't have Rock Slide, I could have won. But I mean, it's part of the game too. I mean, but as I go along, I'll be learning more, know a little bit more about predictions and stuff like that. So pick up 1-1-1 loss. 2 very close battles. One we were able to win because of his last Pokemon, one we weren't. So that's we doing some more battles with this team. So be ready for those. Look for them if you're interested. And then soon I'll also be making a new team with a new Mega Evolution. So But that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.